Stay. That's you? How you feeling? Well, you lost a lot of blood. It was scary, and I'm doing much better now. I swear, on Mama grave.
I thought you said he was dead.
He was. I checked his pulse.
Then what the is he doing talking to us?
But this is good, right? He's okay.
Smoke. That ain't your brother.
When I tell y'all ain't seen nothing yet. That was at that point I was like, ah! I couldn't even take it. There was a clip from the new film Sinners, and we are back with the cast: Michael B. Jordan, Hailee Steinfeld, Wunmi Mosaku, Delroy Lindo, Miles Caton, and director Ryan Coogler. Now, Ryan, you wrote and you directed Sinners, and I remembered you said it was inspired by your family. And I gotta ask you this, how messed up is your family that you made a vampire biopic about them? Do your cousins realize what you have said about them?
I mean, I got clearance from everybody, you know.
Okay.
I gave them the heads up. But like I said, we movie fans, man. We really watch as a family, and we love scary movies, man. And my cousins, my aunts, uncles, you know, my grandma, they all honored, you know. And the movie isn't just vampires, right?
No,
you know,
not at all.
It comes from a relationship that I had with my eldest uncle, my Uncle James, who passed away in 2015. And all he would listen to is blues music, and he was from Mississippi. And he would talk about his life, and you know, whenever that music was playing, and after I lost him, I would play the records to kind of remember him. And sometimes I feel like I was conjuring his spirit. And that was where it came from, man. I also had two crazy older cousins, you know, and a little bit of this was inspired by that. You know, I'm excited to show it to them, but yeah, man, it was all made with fun and love, you know.
I do want to say, you know, we talk about it being a vampire, like, kind of biopic, but it also has so many messages layered through it that, you know, you got this message that was so beautiful and so poignant, and then you still was like, oh, the vampires is coming. So, you know, Michael, watching you played twins, Smoke and Stack. Okay, what's your favorite part about playing twins? Like that, you know, and?
I mean, the challenge of it all, I think normally you build one character and you kind of, you know, you have that arc, you arc that person throughout, that character throughout the movie. This time I had 2.5, you know, characters to arc out through this movie, and you'll know what I mean when you watch it. But I just think the challenge and the duality of both of them, you know, they're so different, but, you know, but the same person in the same way. So it was just challenging. It was a real challenge. I like challenges.
Was there anybody that helped you coordinate that? Because there were aspects of Smoke and Stack. You were like, they're almost one person, but everything was very specific and different.
Yeah, just doing research and a deep dive on twins in general was very enlightening, you know, and so unique. You know, Ryan had a couple buddies of his that are twins. Noah and Logan, and being able to just pick their brains, hear the stories that they were telling, you know, of them growing up, all the mischief they used to get into. And you know, Coog tells a story sometimes of how, you know, when they're in the room, they would always sit next to each other. You know what I'm saying? But if they're really trying to mess with you, you know what I'm saying, get in your head, they would separate and see which way you kind of gravitated toward. You know what I'm saying?
Playing with you psychologically.
Exactly, and that's kind of what we wanted to do in this film a little bit too. You know, there's a point in the movie where, you know, they're not around each other as much, and you kind of see them struggle and adapt to those situations. And it's try not to give anything away, but it's pretty.
Well, I love without giving anything away, Smoke and Stack. You had two different romantic leads, you know, because you were playing the twins.
That is a fact.
Okay, so the two romantic leads were played by Hailee and Wunmi. Okay, so y'all, what was it like playing Michael's love interest?
I mean, it was like,
I did get the fun one.
you got, but I got the deep, like thoughtful. You know, it's so funny because I remember on the camera test, I was doing my camera test with Smoke, and he went off to change, and I was turning around, and then someone came up behind me, and I was like, who is that stranger? And I turned around and it was Stack. And it was so clear as day that that was not my man. That was Stack.
That was Stack.
That was Stack.
There were so many elements in the Sinners. Like, Miles, the one thing I gotta say about you, your singing took my breath away as I watched you. And I saw your face and I said, I kept going, this is a baby, you know? But your spirit, you got like an old soul in a loving way. And I said, as you were singing, I said, this ain't a baby, this is a man right here. Has singing always been your passion, Miles?
Yeah, I come from a very musical family. I grew up singing in church, and you know, everything's kind of been a stepping stone. So I've been, you know, touring with her since I was 16.
With the artist Her,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just been everything's been leveling up since then.
You know, it's so funny because you say and you got your mama in the audience too. I love a man to bring their mama to the show. Mama said it, mama. But I love it because you talk about, you know, you sang with her, but you also sang gospel. There's a lot of people here that know you from the gospel. But you had, and I'm not giving nothing away, but you had a little bit of an intimate scene. What your mama say about the scene? And I'm not even going, but it was nice and intimate. What? How your mama deal with that one?
I'm grown.
Mama, I'm grown. And like, and Delroy, your character, this jazz man, it was so many levels you were playing and so many emotions you were drawing out of me. Like, I'm with you, I'm scared for you, I'm screaming for you. Like, what was it like, all of the levels that you had to play for your character?
A lot of it was what Ryan presented to me. There was wonderful depth in the character in terms of what he had written. And when Ryan offered this to me, and he and I spoke, that was the point of departure, just in terms of how he talked about the music, how he talked about the history of the music, and his love for these people.
You know, Ryan, you and Michael, y'all have been making movies since you did Fruitvale Station. When we saw you in Fruitvale Station, and like, we got this photo that was 12 years ago.
Oh, man.
When you were doing Fruitvale Station.
Baby.
You know, from that point, 12 years ago, what's the biggest change that you two have seen in each other and the growth that you've seen?
Man, biggest change? Man. I mean, he a father now with 2 kids.
A father with 2 kids, a whole different perspective.
I got a couple of kids, and we met. I didn't have a house. I was living in my little brother's room. Yeah. I was Keenan's roommate. So yeah, I mean, truthfully, it's actually an honor to see how much hasn't changed. You know, like because he's a global movie star now. I can open a movie and the face of franchises, and I just found out he got a bar in New York that he owned for 7 years.
You got a bar in New York and I never been?
I'm sorry.
He just
Whenever you want, come on through.
He's just like a mogul now. But when I talk to him, it's about his niece and nephew. It's about his mom. It's about how his dad is doing. About how his sister's doing. How his brother's doing.
Yeah.
So you know, still family oriented, still humble, still all about the work. And that's who he was when we met when we were kids. You know, and so it's been an honor to see like what hasn't changed. You know, that's that's the truth.
I just want to say, it is truly, and Delroy got on me before, I'll use this word, it has truly been an honor for you guys to come here on my show and talk about this phenomenal movie, The Sinner. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you, Michael, because when you came on here to promote Creed, you said you were going to come back,
yes,
and you kept your word, and I thank you for that. And I want to tell y'all, Sinners is in theaters Friday, April 18th. Do not wait. You've got to go see this in IMAX. It is something you will not forget. It is absolutely amazing. So run, don't walk. And we'll be right back. Sinners.
We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have